Hey, and welcome to Kemah Connection. So my last two videos has been looking at past videos and pulling out parts that we think you all would like to see again. We've now done 1 through 5, 6 through 10, so today is 11 through 15. Hi, welcome to Kemah Connection. Today I want to talk about having to call 911. That happened to me recently. I don't know if you've heard, but I was in an accident on a ladder a couple of months ago, and it really changes you when all of a sudden you're needing the services of 911. My wife had to make the call, and thank God she heard me fall off the ladder, but I fell, hit my head on a rock, and my body on the pavement and was knocked out. When my wife Colleen came around to see me, I was out like a light, so it scared the heck out of her, so she ran in to call 911. Thankfully, in minutes, the police department was there, and then shortly afterwards, the fire department, and they were able to help me, and more importantly, Colleen feel comfortable as we proceeded through this event in our life. Shortly thereafter, the ambulance came, and so I got my first ride in an ambulance, but while I was laying there on the pavement with my head bleeding, and I couldn't move. It was scary. So anyway, the reason I want to talk about 911 is that right now the powers to be that are in office, not only at City Hall, but in the Water Board and the Emergency Service Board, they're not thinking about having to call 911. They're just looking at the books here, and it's a lot more than that. 911 was important for me as the one that needed the services, but it was really more important for my wife Colleen, who was scared to death that our life might be changed forever. But anyway, I had my ride in the ambulance to the hospital, went into the emergency room, found out that I had a bad gash on the back of my head that resulted in a brain concussion. Let me tell you, going through that is not good. So I got to spend 3 days in ICU. So again, you're going to have a real proponent in me telling you that we need an emergency service here in Kemah that isn't taken back to the 20th century like just happened, but we need one that will take us into the 21st century, which we were working on. So you can count on me to help us get there in the future. Welcome to Kemah Connection. Today I want to talk about a couple of projects that we were working on when I was still mayor. The first one I want to talk about actually goes back about 7 years ago, and at the time I was on city council and president of KCDC, our Kemah Community Development Corporation. And one of the projects that we started on at that point in time, 7 years ago, was a left-hand turn lane into Kemah Village, one of the 6 areas that represent Kemah. When that subdivision was done years ago, if you were coming from Kemah on 518, you had to drive past the subdivision and then make a U-turn in the middle of 518, which was very dangerous, to come back into Kemah Village. Well, who would have ever thought that it would take 7 years to solve that problem? But we're just about there on that project, and I really want to thank Luann and Hubert, who were on the association, because if it hadn't have been for them pushing, this would have never happened. And I also want to thank Dennis Flolo, who came in at the last minute and said, hey, I think I can make this happen because you can cross my property. And instead of trying to have a left-hand turn lane to get in to the west side of Kemah Village, we'll get in on the east side. Well, that loosened everything up to where we got with TxDOT and worked that out. And within a few days, they should be able to make the left-hand turn lane into Kemah Village. So again, thank you, Luann Lathrop and Hubert Ekstrom, for your help on this, and more importantly, Dennis Flolo, who offered to allow us to cross his property. The other one I want to talk about is the Bell Road extension, which actually has been named after Ralph Gordy, and then that also went in and went by the shops of Kemah, which that street has not been named yet, but is in the process of being named. But that is going to open up the possibility of eventually having access from Highway 96 all the way to 518 without traveling on 146, and then eventually all the way through from 518 to 2094.
This is a great project, and it's a great project because of the collaboration that has gone into this. The mayor, if you haven't seen him already, has got the plans drawn out to where, due to his vision and foresight, this road will actually parallel 146 for a stretch of about 6 miles, I think, 6 or 8 miles when it's complete. And that is the direct response from the mayor working with the county working with the city of Clear Lake Shores, and everybody working together to not do piecemeal, but to do one collaborative effort start to finish. So I want to thank the mayor for having the vision to do something more than just build a small road in Kemah.
Since November of 17, I got a call about every day from the mayor saying, let's go, let's go, let's go. No, and Wendy. But no, it was really particularly exciting because we even did a few things a little bit unorthodox to get the money with the match all done so that we could speed the project up. And it's just a great day to get it going, and it's going to be great for the city of Kemah.
So that should be opening soon, but we need to get the temporary traffic light in at 146 and Bell Road, Ralph Gordy Lane, and then we could be using that as another way to get into Kemah or exit Kemah. So really, thanks to all the people that were involved in that, the Gordy family that donated the right-of-way along their property to extend Bell Road, and then also thanks to the owners of the 88 acres that are allowing us the right-of-way to get from 96 to eventually tie into the shops of Kemah. And then also thanks to the shops of Kemah for donating the right-of-way along there. So anyway, stay tuned for further developments on that, and thank you. Welcome to Kemah Connection, and today I want to talk about our core values in the city of Kemah and Team Kemah more specifically. So when I was mayor back in 2016, we sit down as a council and worked up the core values of Kemah, how we should act as a council working together, and also how we would form our Team Kemah, meaning our employees, the police department, fire department, etc. What has happened in the last 6 months that all that has been changed, which is unfortunate, I think, for the many staff and employees that got hung up with this and lost their jobs after the council, that's pretty much the same council that was there, helped us hire these people and to form Team Kemah. But the other day when I walked into the city hall and I noticed that the Team Kemah plaque was down. And I'm thinking, now what has changed so much in Kemah that they would take this Team Kemah plaque down when again it wasn't just me that formed these opinions, it was the council, which is basically the same people that is there now. So the core values, this is what they took down. And this is basically going through Team Kemah, the first letters. So T for trustworthy in all we do. What's changed about that? Efficient in our process, accountable to the people, motivated in our actions. So that's the team part of Team Kemah. Now let's talk about Kemah. Knowledgeable in our choices, engaged with one another, mature in our thoughts and behavior, adaptive in our responses, hospitable to you and all. So, what has changed? It's a shame that our Team Kemah values have changed, and I'm not sure Kemah is a team anymore. I know that the staff and the police department have totally changed, and I think it's just disappointing that we worked so hard as a team, council and mayor, to build what we had. So it's disappointing to walk in, and not only is the Team Kemah uh, plaque down, but the plaque that we put on the wall for the successful project when we renovated and added on to City Hall, which labeled all the council and the people that were involved in it, it's gone too. So I just don't understand why those things aren't important now. Thank you. Hey, welcome to Kemah Connection. So today I want to talk about several things that really concern me about Kemah. This is not political or anything else. It's just some facts that I think you all need to be aware of. I first want to start with City Hall. Since I was mayor, almost the entire staff is now gone, and it concerns me that we have people that's head of accounting now and HR that have no experience. The person that's handling that right now is a great person, and they were hired to be our receptionist and help with permitting, but they have no experience with HR and accounting. That's just one instance for City Hall, but the one that may concern me the most is the police department. Did you know that almost all the officers that were part of the police department when was mayor, they're gone? And I don't know exactly why that is. I know some have left because they weren't happy with the situation. Some have retired, and some were let go on really a very touchy subject. So the concern here is, how many police officers do we have left? The last I heard was 12 or 13. When I was mayor, it took at least 19 to have full staff. So what's happened from this? Well, we had a murder or a killing at our city parking lot down by the bars the other night. They still haven't solved that. The guy was beat to death. And then we've had cars getting broken into. I don't know how they cover our city when we have a short staff like that. I don't know if you were aware of that, but it really concerns me, the safety as a resident and our business, etc. The other one is the fire department. When I was mayor, we worked together to try and have a truly paid staff fire department that was trained and well staffed so that if there was a fire, we could eventually get to that fire within around 4 minutes. We were working off of about 19 minutes at the time, so we had a goal moving forward. Now, all of a sudden, we don't even have a real fire chief. So think about that. I understand that whoever's interim isn't even certified. The other thing I've been hearing rumors of is that WCID number 12, which is over our fire department, they're thinking about getting rid of the fire department altogether. I know they visited with one of our sister cities to see if they would take over coverage, which I can assure you isn't going to happen. I know that our sister city has been contacted about them buying our ladder truck that we just bought maybe a year and a half to 2 years ago. I don't know what's going on, but all we have right now is volunteers, and we don't have very many. So I hope you don't have any problems there. So anyway, I just wanted to update you on a few things here that really concern me, and it has nothing to do with politics. Thank you. Welcome to Kemah Connection. So today I want to talk a little bit about the fire department in Kemah. We've already talked about the fact that our fire chief that had been with us for a number of years was run off, and now we don't have a fire marshal. That was taken care of in the September 16th meeting of the water board, where basically it was stated that they shouldn't be in the fire marshal business. Now, that same night, a report had been given that the fire marshal had done 54 inspections the month before. So who's doing our fire marshal inspections now? Does anyone know? And the other thing that's kind of interesting to me is that our new interim fire chief, he had a certification in industry fires, and our former fire chief, Brent Hahn, was certified in structural fires and other things. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think we're going to have many industry fires in Kemah, so I kind of prefer to be protected by a fire chief that is certified in structural fires. But the other thing that kind of came up recently was the fact that there was discussion to sell our ladder truck. Now, if we were to lose our ladder truck, have no fire marshal, and not have a chief that's certified in structural fires, watch out for your insurance costs. They're going to rise substantially. So we still have a real concern in the fire department. Now, let's also talk a little bit about the 2018 Emergency Service Board, which I was on, along with a council member from Kemah. The mayor of Clear Lake Shores was on at the time, along with their mayor pro tem. There was 2 from the water board, 2 from the fire department, and 1 from Lazy Ben. That's 9 members. Now, I got blamed a lot for what was going on during that time, 2018, 2017. And it's unfair that that happened because we were a 9-member board. We all voted, and we all worked together and actually had developed a nice 5-year strategic plan. And that has all been thrown out the door in the last 7 months. And that saddens me. And another thing that's kind of interesting is that while I was on the Emergency Service Board, there was comments that all I was interested in is designing a fire station and benefiting from that. It's ironical to me that someone was saying that I had done a 11 million 2-story fire station for Kemah. Well, why don't you ask them to show you the plans on that? Because they don't exist, okay? And another thing that's ironical is that out of the 43 years I've been designing fire stations, I've never designed one that cost $11 million. So anyway, there's a lot of misinformation out there. It's unfair. So anyway, stay tuned because there's still chatter out there about selling the ladder truck. I've heard it from 4 different cities. So I know there was a statement made in the last couple of weeks that it's not being considered at this time. Well, folks, at this time has passed. So watch out. If you don't want the ladder truck sold, then speak up and don't let things just happen like they have been. By the way, really look at the minutes from the water board for September 16th and May 13th. It'll give you a lot of information on some of the things that's been happening at the water department, and they're in the minutes. So when someone says Carl's lying, look at the minutes, and we'll post those so that you can go to those sites and see what they say. Thank you.